Hello everybody and welcome back to Sunshine Islands. It is the 7th day of fall today and I have a few updates and a few things that I want to talk about. So the first thing is we're gonna go and take care of our rice paddy. We've had the rice grown in for quite some time now, and fast forwarding through the calendar, it's gonna die around fall day 9 if I don't take care of it soon. So I've gone ahead and I've put the yellow wonderful into my sickle along with the red wonderful as well, just so I can go ahead and cut more at a time and be a little bit more efficient. So we're gonna go and see what that looks like. We're gonna go cut some of that down today. We'll do that in the morning. We'll just kind of kill a little bit of time. You can see here that our crops are coming along very, very nicely. The spinach has already come in, which is fantastic, seeing as how it's only fall day 7. It's probably worth replanting this stuff because it will come in relatively quickly. My yams up here, my first batch of yams, are in the final stage. So if I give them a little bit of water, they should be coming in and giving me some yams within the next few days. I've had a lot of cloudy days. I haven't had a ton of sunshine, which has been making things a little bit more slow, but I'd rather that than constant rain. So we have quite a bit of this ready to go already. We are still waiting for the rest of it to come in, and I was trying to wait until all of it came in at once just to kind of clean up the field all at once, but if I don't take care of this stuff soon, it's going to die, so with my yellow wonderful, I'm able to reap this stuff. You're not able to cut anything down in the paddy if you do not have a yellow wonderful, so that's just a reminder to make sure that you have one of those on before you come here. You also need the yellow wonderful to be able to plant this stuff as well. So if you only have one, I would recommend just swapping it in between the two tools. And then of course my red wonderful that I have on here allows me to do 2 squares at once rather than 1. It's not terribly efficient, but it's still helping things along. Now I'm not going to spend all day doing this. I have other things that I want to do today. So I'll probably just do half of it, and then I'll do the other half tomorrow, because I still do have tomorrow to do this before they die. But just wanted to demonstrate cutting all this down and what it's going to look like in our inventory. So if we open up our rucksack, you can see that I got 54 pieces in total, and it says right in the description that this rice needs to be put through a thresher before we're able to eat it. So unfortunately the reaped rice isn't really all that great on its own. You can still sell this stuff and you'll get a decent amount of money for selling it, but the idea is to grow the rice in the paddy and then to put it through the thresher in the maker shed in order to actually make the rice itself. And unfortunately for us, we only just put in our first level maker machine, or sorry, our maker shed rather, our first small level of maker shed. And in order to put the threshing machine in, we have to have the large maker shed, and then we would have to also put the thresher in. So we're still kind of a ways away from being able to do that. You can see that the shed is still empty. So it's completely up to you what you want to do with what you have got out of your patty. Remembering, of course, that you can pretty much only get all this stuff to grow once per year. This is it until year 2, and then I have to replant it, and I'll have to wait once again until fall of year 2 to be able to get more rice. So I have probably another 50 or so pieces of this coming, because I only did about half of the field. So believe it or not, you actually cannot put this stuff in the fridge, which is really unusual. It's food, technically, but if you do want to store this and you want to wait until you have the threshing machine, it would actually go into your cabinet. So yeah, weird. I don't know why that is. So I may choose to store some of mine once I start to cut down my second harvest. But for now, I'm going to just ship what I have here. And I'm hoping that this will also unlock the Rice Festival for us as well. It'll be interesting to see how much money we get from that. The next thing on my agenda is to come into the diner to watch Chelsea's Purple Heart event. And we can trigger this in between noon and 3 p.m. on a sunny or cloudy day. You can also trigger it on a rainy day, but at a different time. Did you come to eat too? The food here is great. If you're alone, why don't we eat together? I prefer eating with someone. Of course. That sounds nice. Yay, thanks! I eat alone a lot, and it sure can get lonely. For some reason, the food tastes better when I'm with someone. You think so too, isn't it strange? Thanks for eating with me. Oh, you're welcome. So that's been on my to-do list for a little while now. I figured we would want to trigger that, and I was thinking about the timing that I want to kind of finish this game on, and I think I kind of briefly talked about this in the last video as well. But I should probably actually think about getting married somewhat soon. We do need to do some house updates and whatnot still. And it's a little bit unfortunate because I feel like we haven't really given Chelsea much time to sort of grow on us. We haven't really seen many of her events. We've only seen the one. We haven't gone on any dates with her. Like there's not really a lot of her that we've seen. She's only been in town for 2 months, and I feel like I got her to move in relatively quickly. I mean, it only took us a year to get her to move in, considering how many sunstones we had to get in order for her to move in. I think we did pretty good. But I am probably going to be putting up the poll now for everybody to decide who it is that they want me to marry between all of the girls in the village, because we've seen everybody else's heart events. We've seen all of Lily's, all of Julia's, all of Sabrina's, and all of Lana's, and they've had a lot more chance for us to get to know them. Even Lily now, I mean, it took me a little while to unlock her, but she's been in the village for quite some time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the poll all through the fall season. Every single video that I put out in the fall season, I'm going to just give a little reminder, and I'll post a link either in the description of these videos, or I'll put them in a pinned comment to the poll for people to choose who it is that they want me to marry. And we can't forget which princess, of course. I just realized I didn't mention her in my my list of bachelorettes, but we can't forget which princess, because she's very special in her own way. And remember, of course, that if you want to see more of Chelsea, but you don't really want me to marry her or something like that, there's YouTube. You can always look up her heart events from other people on YouTube to see what kind of personality she has. And I will also be uploading my own heart events later on, of course, as I often do. So you can see here at Gannon's that I went ahead and I hired the dark green Harvest Sprite team yesterday for them to start work today. I went ahead and I did the long enchanting period again, so they're going to enchant for 2 days, and then they're going to need a 20-day resting period. And I ran the numbers. I think it's still more beneficial for the sprites to do the material enchantment. I think it's a lot better overall for most of our buildings and upgrades for them to be able to decrease the amount of lumber that we use, because it also decreases the cost as well. But unfortunately, I just don't have a lot of lumber to work with. There's not a ton of upgrades that I would be able to do even with the enchantment that I want to do at the moment. So I chose to go with the price enchantment, and it's still not great, honestly, in my opinion. The medium enchantment took off about $1,400 off of all of the maker machines. So I'm going to be saving about $2,800 if I choose to get 2 of these, which isn't a great trade-off for the very, very long resting period that the sprites are going to have, unfortunately. But the small upgrade only took off about $1,000. So the small enchantment, we're saving about $1,000. The large enchantment, or the medium enchantment, we're saving about $1,400. So it's not a huge difference. And then if we're looking at some of our other upgrades, such as our house, we are looking at about a $2,500 decrease. So we'd be saving about $2,500 if we were able to upgrade the house right now with the enchantment. The feeders haven't really taken off a lot of money. They take off about $600 with the enchantment. So really, in the grand scheme of things, considering how much money I can make in a day, the money enchantment is sort of just taking off pennies. I did the medium enchantment for materials, and it's a little bit of a better trade-off because we would be using 80 pieces of lumber and only paying about $500. But again, I have so very little lumber to work with that there's still very limited amounts of upgrades that I can do. And my focus was sort of to go for the makers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a maker each day. So I'm gonna go with the yarn maker first because I have some wool saved up, and I think I can probably actually make back what the maker costs by putting what yarn I have into the maker tomorrow. And then I may go with the mayonnaise maker. Once again, I have a lot of eggs, so that would increase the amount of money that I would be getting from just shipping eggs every single day. And if I run the poll for which bachelorette I should marry all throughout the fall season, that gives me all of fall to come up with 400 lumber. It would probably be a little bit less with the enchantment, and I would save myself a little bit of money as well by doing it that way, and I would still have that by the end of the year. If the sprites are going to be resting from, say, fall day 9 until fall day 29, I can still let the poll run for which wife I should have. That will all be sorted out by the end of the year, and then I can still upgrade the house, and I will be able to meet that goal by the end of the year with hopefully no issues. So we are going to pay for the yarn maker today. And adamantite is fairly easy to obtain, and the medium enchantment only decreases the cost by 2 pieces of adamantite from 10 pieces to 8 pieces. So I felt that saving the money was a little bit more worth it. Money is much easier to come across than lumber, but I still felt that that was probably the best choice that I could have made, all things considered. So I didn't really have much time to run around and do any socializing today. I didn't really pick up any forageable items or anything like that. I still have time to do that today. I have to go and water my trees as well. But those were kind of the main things I wanted to talk about. I know that I'm sure some people were thinking at this point that I had forgotten about the poll, or I'd forgotten about getting married, or it just was never going to happen, or I wasn't maybe keeping track of my time management. But yeah, I did start to think about that. I thought there's so many upgrades now that I want from Gannon, and how do I decide which one I want? And I remembered that, yeah, if I want to get all 100 sunstones and I want to finish this game in a relatively decent amount of time, then I really do have to decide who it is that I want to marry. And I probably won't do an update tomorrow just because it's going to be very much the same as it was today. I'm probably going to take care of the rest of my rice over on the Paddy. I sort of have to do that because otherwise it'll die on me, which I don't want. And I will be purchasing another maker from Gannon as well. And then I'll just be doing my regular boring farm stuff. There won't be really much else to talk about. And then, of course, we have our Harvest Festival on the 10th that we can go to. So I'll just talk to everybody here on the Mystic Islands. And I've been trying to give the Harvest Goddess gifts now ever since I realized that I sort of have to do that in order to be able to see Elisa's heart events. So I've been sort of saving all of my flowers for her. I have some strawberries in my fridge, which are her favorite gift ever. So if I don't have a use for my strawberries, I'm gonna start dropping them into her pond. So hopefully I'll be doing a few videos in the fall season so that I can keep putting the poll up and I can keep reminding people to vote. I'm very excited to see who it is that people want me to marry. And that also means I'll probably have to take a break from this game because I have recorded far more than I've uploaded. So I'm gonna have to give people an opportunity to actually vote. I have to make my uploads match up to where I am in my recordings and then go from there. So I will probably just play the rest of fall and then I might take a break when it comes to be wintertime. So I have a few days to play. I will be back on the 10th day of fall to do any sort of update that I need to do at that time, and of course we will also be attending the Harvest Festival as well. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will be seeing you next time.